Hello everybody, welcome back to Zelda here. I'm going to just give you my overall impressions and overall thoughts of Elden Ring Nightreign. I have 129 hours in the game, and I have all the achievements. I've done every character to success on every single boss, and have won multiple solo runs. So I like to think I have a pretty good idea of the game and all of its mechanics. And yeah, so I'm just going to sit here and talk about it. So enjoy the footage in the background of one of the runs I did with one of my buddies. And yeah, so let me just talk. I'm not gonna script this out or anything. I'm just gonna kind of talk off the cuff. So if I ramble or lose the topic at some point, I apologize ahead of time. But yeah, anyway. So overall, I feel like Nightreign is incredibly good. It is just fun. I haven't sat down and played a co-op game and had this much fun in a very, very long time. Like, don't get me wrong, there are multiplayer games and games you can play with your friends that are enjoyable. Things like Marvel Rivals, and there's been a few in recent memory that have been like fun. But this game has been just so much more fun than any of those, and it's surprisingly difficult, like much more difficult than I thought it was going to be. When this game first got announced, I was thinking this was going to be something that was going to be kind of casual friendly. This would be like the stepping stone to get people into From Software games so they could play this game, get used to it, and then go back and play like Dark Souls or Dark Souls 3, Elden Ring, blah, blah, blah. But no, that is 100% not the case. This game is challenging. Some of these bosses are some of the best and hardest bosses From Software has ever made. And that really genuinely surprised me. If I could give any main praise to this game, it's that the Night Lords are fantastically designed. And I hear a lot of people complaining that From Software has kind of lost the FromSoft magic and that these bosses don't feel like traditional FromSoft bosses. But I think these people are not really paying attention to why they don't feel like traditional FromSoft bosses. Because to me, they do feel like traditional FromSoft bosses, but to me, they feel like they're traditional FromSoft bosses that are designed to be fought by three people. And in the old Souls games, the bosses were meant for one-on-one, and then multiplayer was just kind of tacked onto the side. So the bosses never felt like they actually stood a chance against three people in those games, and in this game, they absolutely put up a fight against three people. They swap aggro so fast. I mean, they are brutal sometimes, but I love that. There's no more coming into a game with three people and just shitting on the boss in like 3 seconds, instantly killing it, and then moving on to the next one. And I really appreciate that. There was at least 3 of the Night Lords that really just shut us down. There was one that we didn't defeat for an entire day of playing, just about. Like, I'm pretty sure we spent about 12 hours of runs and failed all day long until finally we beat him. And I'm hearing a lot of complaints that it's not fun because you don't really have a way to learn the bosses, because every time you fail at the bosses, you have to do the entire Night 1 and Night 2 again to get back to the boss. And I kind of understand that, but to me, learning the big boss fights is the core fun of the game. Like, that is the whole point of the game. You struggle through the first 2 nights to get to that point where you can like test yourself. And so I don't know, with only 8 bosses, you don't want to breeze through them too fast, because once they're done, once you've beat them, that's the game. There's not a lot of other things you can do other than like the remembrances and stuff. And I don't think there's a large majority of people that are playing these games for like the lore and the story. I know there's a very large community for that, but I think the core casual audience is not really here for that. They're just here for the gameplay and the bosses. And so these people that are complaining that the bosses are too challenging and they don't get to practice them, I don't get that argument, because all you're doing is making the game end sooner. And so I really appreciate the fact that the bosses are challenging, they're hard, and you have to work towards getting better at them. I have 120 hours in the game now, and when I first started fighting some of these bosses, I could not understand their mechanics at all. They just felt like insurmountable odds. And oh, excuse me. And now I feel like I've learned their movesets, I learned their tactics, I learned their animations, and now I feel like the bosses are much more manageable after learning them. And to me, that was part of the fun of playing after I beat them initially, was actually learning their actual mechanics and their fights so I can get better at them. And then that translates into me being able to play the game solo and actually succeeding against the bosses. Because when you're playing with two other people, the boss they aggro swap constantly. So you don't ever get to feel what it's like to really fight the boss one on one. And their HP is tuned up, their damage is tuned up, their defense is tuned up for three players. And when you go into these single player runs after playing a lot of co-op, it does feel much, much easier because you're able to stagger the bosses easier, you're able to do more damage to the bosses, you get them one on one, and you can really learn their movesets. And I don't know, I really enjoy it. I really, really have enjoyed it. And it's actually quite surprising how many of the Dark Souls bosses that they brought back that feel really good to fight solo. Like, I never thought I would enjoy a one-on-one fight with Gaping Dragon, but somehow they have brought that boss into Elden Ring and made it fun. Like, it feels good. Dancer is still the same Dancer from Dark Souls 3, but with the reduction in iframes that Elden Ring has and the reduced roll distance, she's actually quite formidable. And I really like that they've added new flavor to the bosses. Like, they've all got some sort of new mechanic or move set of some kind. I really appreciate that. When they announced that Smelter Demon was going to be in the game, I was actually sitting here thinking, okay, well, against three people, Smelter Demon's going to be a joke. But then they create that flaming form mechanic that makes it to where every time he charges up his fire in his core, it deals more and more and more damage to you over time by just standing near him. And then his final phase, it doesn't matter where you're standing in the arena, he's just constantly burning you. And you have to stagger him in order to break that fire out of his core. It's just really cool. I love the little mechanics like that they've introduced in Nightreign. And I hope that we get new and interesting mechanics like that in future FromSoft games. Because in the classic From Software games, you know, you got Yorm the Giant, the Storm King, you know, things like that that are very gimmicky focused fights. I like those fights, don't get me wrong, but they usually are too easy or too simple because of the mechanic. And these are ways of doing a gimmick fight like that that still keep the fight challenging and engaging, and I really appreciate that. I have enjoyed pretty much all of the bosses extensively, even the ones I hated at first. Like, I used to hate Libra. I thought that fight was just cringe and stupid. Augur was kind of annoying because it felt like Elden Beast, where you just constantly had to chase him around the arena. But as I learned how to engage with those fights, I have grown to really appreciate them. And I think learning how to engage with the bosses is definitely a part of that core fun mechanic. And a lot of people are going to complain because they're lazy and they just want it to be easy and they want to succeed and they want to win. They don't want to have to learn. They don't want to have to try. And if you're one of those people, why are you playing these games? Because the entire purpose of the Souls games is to fail, learn, adapt, and succeed. And that success feels good after you've struggled. The longer you struggle, the better that success feels. And if you're not here to struggle, you're not here to learn, why are you playing these games? Like, straight up. Like, I don't understand. Like, seriously. But anyway. What else can I talk about? I feel like the randomization is a little underwhelming. There is either a bug right now, or maybe it's just some design oversight. I'm not really sure which it is. But there are these shifting earth mechanics that change certain sections of the map. So, like right here in this clip in the background, you can see that rot forest in the distance. That's one of one of the shifting earths that can spawn. Well, once you've beat the main story and you've done all the remembrances and you know, you've defeated all the Night Lords at least once, the shifting earths don't spawn anymore. So the only way you can get shifting earth is to play with Randys who haven't completed the story yet. And so I don't like that because the shifting earths are the only thing that keep the map somewhat interesting. The map randomization is a lot less random than people might initially think. It is very easy to learn the map, learn what things spawn where. The layout of the terrain basically never changes, just what camps are where changes. So once you learn the map in each like biome, you've pretty much, yeah, you've learned the map. There's nothing that changes. It's just what loot you're getting basically that changes, and that's a little disappointing. I feel like the centerpiece of the map, like the little castle fort thing right in the center, there's only 3 possible spawns of enemies there. You can either get just Crucible Knights, you can get just Banished Knights, or you can get just Crucible Knights. And that's not a lot of randomization for the mainstay feature of the default map. Like, when you're not getting Shifting Earth, the castle is your main rune farm, and I don't know, it just feels a little bad when you play like 4 rounds and you've already seen everything. I don't know. That's one little minor gripe I have. I want to see more enemy randomization. We've got all these enemies from Dark Souls that could be added to the game. Not bosses, I mean just regular enemies. And there are still enemies in base Elden Ring that I feel like they could add to the castle and other camps in general. There's a lot of soldier, foot soldier, hollow nobles that just kind of populate the camps, and that's a little disappointing because, my god, we have fought so many of those in Elden Ring already. It's not interesting, it's not really fun. But honestly, that's really the only gripe I have is just the lack of randomization. The loot is fine. I like the loot. The way the loot works is fine. I like the passives. I like how certain things, once you learn what things drop what, you can kind of min-max to focus on getting the rewards that you particularly want. Which takes a little bit of the randomization out of what you get out, but at the same time it keeps it just random enough to where you can't necessarily guarantee success just because you know where to go, which I like. So there is that. Do I have anything else noteworthy to talk about? I love the co-op. I love the solo runs. I do admit the solo runs are a little boring. There's no pause feature in the single player, so if you're like by yourself and something happens and you need to like pause for a second or quit to do whatever, you can't. You just have to wipe the run, which kind of feels bad a little bit when you're solo. So like when you play this game, you better make sure you have like 50 minutes to sit down and really spend playing this game and doing nothing else. There is no room for interruptions. That's a little shitty, but you know, I mean, that's just part of it. It's not a super big deal. Let's see. Relics, I guess I could talk about a little bit. I'm a little disappointed with the relics. There are some really cool and really interesting fun abilities that the relics can give you, but for the most part, the relics feel unimportant, uninspired. They don't really matter. The highest stat modifying thing I've seen is a +3 to a stat, so like a +3 to endurance or a +3 to vigor. I've never seen anything higher than +3, and that's a little disappointing. I mean, you can always stack those, so you can get like 3 relics that have +3 vigor and put all 3 of those on so that you get a +9, but like, I don't know, those don't feel good in the long term compared to some of the things like, you know, Wilder's ability does this, or Guardian's ability can heal instead of just damaging, and, you know, things like that that actually feel fun and interesting. I feel like they could definitely add more to the relic system. And that goes in line with kind of some of the passives you get from the night boss rewards, or some of the boss rewards in general. Some of the passives just don't feel good. Like, There are some that are really cool, like dodging creates lightning around you, or sprinting causes an ice storm in front of you. Walking spawns founding rain of stars, you know, things like that that are pretty fun and interesting, especially for like wizard characters. Like you can get some pretty interesting mechanics that really help. But a lot of the passives are, oh, your flask heals more, or you do more damage to this type of enemy, or uh, I don't know, just really generic pluses, and those don't feel good. They don't feel interesting. Some of them are good, but they don't feel interesting. Like it's not enough to like stay exciting. Like the best thing I get excited when I see is, oh, improved dodging, so I have more iframes when I roll. That's the most exciting thing there is to get for me. And I just feel like, I don't know, they could have done a little bit more with that system. It's fine. It works. It's good enough. It's enough to stay somewhat engaging for like the first 100 hours, but past that, I feel like that kind of loses all of its flair pretty quickly. Um, I guess I could talk a little bit about characters. I love the characters. There's not a single bad character in the game. They all have a very set in stone, like particular playstyle that's intended for them. I really didn't care for that at first, but the more I played each of the characters, I really, really grew to love each one of them for what they're good at. And that definitely is what makes the gameplay stay fresh and interesting, is switching between the characters. I hear a lot of people saying the game is just you doing the same thing over and over and over again, and it's so boring. But if you ask those people what character they play, they'll just tell you that they play one character every single time. Well, the interesting part of the gameplay is changing the character you're playing as. That's what keeps the game fresh and interesting. And I cannot wait to see what new characters the DLC is going to add. Because to me, changing characters and playing with different builds is what makes the game so much fun. And I don't know. The abilities that the characters have, the passives and the ultimates, are all just so much fun. I do feel like certain characters are definitely stronger or weaker than others. Like a full party of recluses versus a full party of wilders. The wilders are going to shred everything, and the recluses are going to struggle until they get lucky with a staff drop or something. So not all of them feel extremely strong. Especially for solo play. I've done solo play as Revenant, Recluse, the Archer guy, Iron Eye, and Wilder. And I think the Archer's fine. I think Wilder's fine for solo play. Recluse kind of sucks for solo play, just because of the nature of spell casting. It takes a lot of time to charge up spells and stuff, so you can get really punished really easily. And you're so squishy that you get damn near one shot by every boss, so that doesn't feel good for solo play. But yeah, I don't know. I don't really have a problem with any particular character. I think they're all good at what they do. They're all interesting to some degree, and yeah, I just can't wait to see what else we get in the future. I guess that's pretty much covered every main topic of the game. I don't really want to go into like story or lore or anything because it's still a little early. We're only 2 weeks in. I don't want to spoil anything. But, yeah. Overall impressions, love it. Can't wait to see what they add in the future. Things I'm looking forward to, more Dark Souls bosses for sure. I feel like this game is just perfect for bringing back some of those, like, really popular, really beloved bosses and giving them a kind of up-to-date makeover. Give them a few new little bells and whistles and shit. And, yeah. I would like to see a little bit more randomization in the map. I would like to see at least 5 more shifting earths, if possible, and the ability to set shifting earths. That would be nice, because I feel like I never see them anymore, and I would like to. What else would I like to see? Some more interesting relics. A friend leaderboard would be cool, but I don't think that's really necessary. I just like to look at my friends' stats and see what they're up to, what they've been doing. That's always interesting. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much covered everything, I think. Loving the game. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Let me know if anything I said triggered you, or if you disagree with me or agree with me. And yeah, let me know what you guys think about Nightreign if you're enjoying it in the comments below. And I will see you guys in the next live stream or video. Peace out. Love you guys. Be good.